Yes. I'll be talking about the management of ADHD. Dr. Fazan has spoken about what ADHD is all about. And I'll be talking about a few of the strategies that we can use to help children with ADHD and the families as well. So as you know, this pandemic, which is COVID-19, even this, we all have suffered a lot in so many ways. Mental health issues from another because all of a sudden there was a shift in our life. And when we look at children with special needs, so obviously they have certain other restraints. They cannot express themselves much better. So they had issues, they had challenges which were of different kinds. Even the families, because as a mother or as a parent who is dealing with children with special needs, I hope everyone is able to hear me. Is it so? Ms. Aisha,
can you speak a little louder?
Can you please?
Yes, I'm saying, are you able to hear me?
Can you speak a little louder?
Yes, I'm trying to. Are you guys able to hear me?
Thank you. Yes, it's better.
Okay, thank you. I was saying that because when you talk about children with special needs, the challenges are very different for the families and also for children with special needs. And when we talk about ADHD and the behaviors that are exhibited by children with ADHD, they're very different. They're very challenging at times for the family. And we need to look at the behavior and fix the behavior rather than fixing the child. So I'll be talking about some behavioral strategies, some behavior management strategies to work on it. Aisha, can you move to the next slide? So we have to look at what behavior serves. The behavior always has a purpose, and it can be a way to get attention, escape, to get some tangible item that they want, or some sensory stimulation, self-stimulation that they want. So it depends what at time the behavior serves for the child. When we say behavior is basically a form of communication, it is a way of telling the children and the the parents and the caretakers that they want something. As a parent, as a person who's working with children with special needs, we have to take challenging behaviors very seriously, because a challenging behavior is a cry for help, basically. I hope you people are able to hear me, because I'm getting this response that people are not able to hear me. So, yes, can we go to the previous slide? Let's move to the previous slide.
Please, just a second.
Yes. So here, as we can see, what the behavior function can be. I don't want to do that. I want attention. I want a certain tangible item, जो एक toy भी हो सकता है, कोई food item भी हो सकता है, एक activity भी हो सकती है जो बच्चे को पसंद है, or some sensory need as well. They do jumping, they do a lot of running. जब हम बात करते हैं ADHD की, so they have a lot of inbuilt energy, and they need to get that out of their body. और जब उनको बहुत ज़्यादा भागता हुआ देखते हैं, तेज तेज चलता हुआ देखते हैं, और कई बार आपको लगता है कि why is he not listening to me? He's not listening to you because he's unable to contain that energy. So we need to understand the purpose, why the child is doing whatever the child is doing. That is very important. Let's move to the next slide, Aisha. Yes. So antecedent behavior consequence, whenever we look at a behavior, we have to look at these three things. What happened before the behavior, what was the behavior, and what happened after the behavior that actually stopped the behavior from happening. What did we do? Did we give the child whatever he or she wants when they throw a major tantrum in a shopping mall? अगर हमने ऐसा ही किया है तो उसका लर्न्ड बिहेवियर यही होगा कि वो अगली बार भी एक मॉल में जाएगा और उसे जो चाहिए उसके लिए वो टैंट्रम थ्रो करेगा और उसको पता है कि मेरी अम्मा मुझे वही दिला देंगी. सो दैट इज हाउ यू मॉनिटर कि एक बिहेवियर से पहले क्या होता है, बिहेवियर क्या होता है और वो बिहेवियर खत्म कैसे होता है, उस बिहेवियर को हम मैनेज कैसे कर रहे हैं. As we all know, it is said that prevention is better than cure. Same goes for a behavior as well. So we have to prevent a behavior from happening, because once it happens, then it gets very difficult for us to control it. So it's always good that we prevent the behavior from happening. Here's an example of that. The behavior is talking out, hitting, pushing, जो हमें usually ADHD के बच्चे करते हैं वो बहुत नजर आते हैं. वो लाइन में खड़े नहीं होंगे, वो दूसरों को पुश करेंगे, क्लास में बाकी बच्चों को बहुत तंग करेंगे, उनको छेड़ेंगे, बिकॉज उनको खुद भी अटेंशन में सस्टेन करने में प्रॉब्लम होती है. सिटिंग फॉर अ लॉन्गर टाइम इज एन इशू फॉर देम. सो इट बिकम्स डिफिकल्ट फॉर देम कि वो हैंडल कर पाए उस पूरी स्ट्रक्चर्ड एनवायरनमेंट को. एंड व्हेन दे कांट हैंडल इट, दे इन्वॉल्व इनटू certain challenging behaviors, जिसमें से pushing है, hitting है, talking out है, बहुत बोलना, बहुत ऊंचा बोलना, और not listening to the teacher. So if that is a behavior that is happening in a class and you want to prevent it from happening, you can prevent it by doing things that the behavior is serving. For instance, in this particular example, the function of the behavior here is to assess tangibles, escape, attention, and what they really want is, how we can prevent this behavior from happening is that instead of waiting for it to end and giving them a book that they want to study or a book that they like, which is a Spider-Man book, instead, while they're doing that activity, you give them a book and make them sit and let them complete the activity. So you prevent it from happening because you are giving them what they want and telling them that is how you continue with your work. Rather than we wait for them to throw a tantrum and then first of all we say, no, I'm not giving you this. And then finally, as a teacher or as a parent, we give up and we give them what they actually want to get. So that's one way of dealing with it. Can we move to the next slide? First, next board. This is very important, especially when we talk about children with ADHD. What happens is that they need break in their work. A constant, they cannot sit for a longer period of time. They cannot sustain attention for a longer period of time. So what happens is that you need to put this first next board on their workstation or on their desk, wherever they work. So they know, first I'll do my work, then I have a running time, I have a movement break, probably is a better word for them. They need movement breaks to work, in a better manner. So we give them a movement break, which is, they can have a round of the school, they can have a round of the music room, they can have a round of the snack room, or they can play with their favorite toy. So that is how you play with the first next board. So they know it is in front of them. Once I complete my activity, this is what I'm getting next. Another strategy that can be useful is token economy. You associate good behaviors with the reinforcer and you tell them, you have to do this to get this. For a child with ADHD, you cannot plan a token economy system that is like of a very longer period of time. Probably unko reinforcement बहुत जल्दी चाहिए है. They cannot wait for a longer period of time. So यहाँ पे looking at the needs of the child, because when we talk about children with special needs, one size fits all is not the policy here. We have to design every plan according to the need of the child. So when we are designing a token economy system for a child with ADHD, that means we have to design it for a shorter period of time, because for them, waiting is a tough ask. So you need to give them tangibles, you need to give them reinforcements at a very shorter span of time. That is how, these are few of the examples, the way we can design a very attractive, something that, you know, catches their attention as well and makes them work. We can play around with things. You can have golden stars, you can have colorful stars, you can have stickers, you can have smileys, and then a final reinforcer that they need. Another very important aspect that helps with children with special needs is social stories, because they come up with a lot of behavioral problems. Hitting hai, snatching hai, kicking hai, running hai बहुत ज़्यादा, not listening to others है, responding to commands आपको नहीं मिल रही होती, तो उस सारी situation में we can build up short stories for them that are told to them. How we do is that we make a story related to their favorite characters. अगर उसको स्पाइडरमैन पसंद है तो उसकी जो स्टोरी हम बनाएंगे वो स्पाइडरमैन की ही होगी, और वो स्पाइडरमैन ही होगा जो उस स्टोरी में उसी कैरेक्टर को लेके हम एक बिहेवियर को लेके उस स्टोरी को डिजाइन करेंगे, एंड देन the teacher or the therapist, whoever is working with the child, they sit with the child and narrate that story with the help of the pictures to them. And that's done quite often so that it stays with them for a longer period of time. And then it helps in managing their behaviors, because if something is not good for Spider-Man, it's not good for him as well, because he knows he kind of relates with Spider-Man very well. So we play with characters, we play with their ability कि वो कितनी ज़्यादा attention को grab कर सकते हैं. हम वो social story उनके desk पे भी लगा सकते हैं so that it stays with them, they look at it, that अगर इस situation में Spider-Man होता तो वो क्या करता, तो मैंने वो करना है जो उसने किया था. So we play with things in this manner. Here again, there's a social story that is built around coronavirus, that how, you know, things have changed. हमें स्कूल नहीं जाना है या जाना है या हमें मास्क पहनने हैं, तो किस तरह से हमने visually उनको बताना है. And when you tell them visually, because visual content basically stays for a longer time than the verbal content, and that is what we try to catch when we work with children with special needs, basically. So I hope this is making some sense. The next part, next point is actually the strategies that can be used during COVID-19. I think that's the way Dr. Nabila just mentioned, that being inclusive is very important. We need to make them part of us, be it family time, be it play time, be it a party time, whatever it is. You cannot just corner them because they have issues, they have behaviors that are not acceptable. No, you have to make them learn those behaviors. You have to make them learn socially acceptable behaviors, but that cannot be done by cornering them. You have to make children with special needs basically part of your family, part of your life, part of your system and your society. Modifying curriculum is important because yes, now staying home, studying from home is very difficult, sessions from home, so we cannot carry on with the same curriculum that we were following earlier. So we have to make life easier for them to, you know, to give them the feeling of accomplishment as well. Project-based learning is very important. There is something always, there has to be something always for a child that he or she is able to do independently, because that gives them a sense of entitlement, a sense of achievement, that yes, even if I am able to fix a 2-piece puzzle, I am able to do something, and that ability to do something is very important. Physical activities, yes, when we talk about ADHD, they are very important. Park time, trampoline time is very important. Running time is very important. So these are the things that can be done. And above everything else, the most important thing is that we need to be very inclusive about children with special needs, be it ADHD or be it Down syndrome or any other strategy, or any other neurodevelopmental disorder that we are talking about. We need to make them part of ourselves. Thank you so much, Aisha. Over to you. Thank you.
Ms. Naeema, for letting us know about the beneficial management techniques. Now, I would like to take the opportunity to announce the winners. of this event who have told some stories for ADHD and Down syndrome. So our first prize goes to